So, the session is going on. Welcome back to our third part of this session. I'd like to welcome our third speaker, who is Manfred Tropper. Hey! Manfred Tropper is CEO and founder at Mantro, which are the initials of his name, obviously. And Mantro is a company builder who partners with established businesses to create tailor-made companies for the digital change that those specific businesses need. And when I Googled you, I found an article that called you like obstetricians for companies, which I find very interesting. And the topic of his talk today is going to be how to be an asshole for once. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, that's an important word. How to not be an asshole for once, and what stands behind this topic. He'll tell us now.
Thank you. Well, I think it's easier to be an asshole, or maybe it's exactly the perfect introduction to the talk, because as you said, I'm building companies together with someone else, with typically much larger companies than us. So we make about 6 million in revenue, and normally the average partner we have makes 2 to endless billion. Yeah, so maybe the smallest joint venture partner right now makes 2 billion or something like that. Which makes discussions about founding a company together and have equal shares and stuff like that quite interesting. And I've been doing I've been working in my own company for 15 years now, but running this business model for 7 years, and I'm always in this negotiation part. And the more it went on and we learned about how to do that and iterated our own business model, I actually kept looking into why the fuck is everybody behaving like an asshole? When you're sitting in a room and you're negotiating this. And for example, yesterday I signed a contract and I've been negotiating this contract for 11 months. And I've spent in total 13 hours negotiating for 11 months. So my hourly rate was quite bad, to be honest, yeah. And in the end, the deal is even worse for our partner because we couldn't bring the product to market for 11 months, which was ready. Yeah, so, and in a digital age, this is quite stupid. Because when you have something ready, what's happening all the time, and I think this is the biggest issue with innovation from a corporate perspective is it's not that you don't have the ideas. It's you have the ideas. You also have the resources to do that, but you're actually just not deciding to do that. And this is even worse when you're working together with someone else because you behave like an asshole all the time. And let me explain why I think this is. From what I learned is that people that are working in established companies are trained to be assholes. And this starts in normal education when you go through, especially every other business school than HSPA, of course. But when you're looking at business economics and the studies there, everything is based on theories like Porter 5 Forces and stuff like that, McKinsey, BCG, all are very analytical companies. All those methodologies are based on looking at markets that are stable, are looking at markets that follow certain rules without human interference, without human behavior and doing something irrational and stuff like that. You're analyzing yourself, you're analyzing your competitors, you're doing the right decision, and this is how you can basically base every decision on numbers. And this is what's very good and what you learn in a business school. You're very, very focused on number, on analytics, and this is why, for example, consultancies and stuff like can actually work in that environment and can produce something because they can use methodologies. The problem with methodologies is that when the frame environment changes, they just don't work because the market you're looking at is not working anymore. Which basically is happening around now all the time. This is what digitalization does. It changes value chains. blockchains. Yeah, so why is Munich Re buying an IoT company? Why is Google building a car? Why is blah 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 blah? It's not like you're staying in your industry, you know, and you do the same thing again. You're optimizing. You're going into other industries because your old industry isn't there anymore as it was before. So you're having this change in the environment, and you're having people that are trained monkeys in analyzing and working in stable environments. This is a problem for those people. And this leads to insecurity, and insecurity leads to behaving like an asshole. This is the simple version of that. So when you don't know what's happening around there, you try to save everything you have. Yeah, you say you're using rational things you have in your mind, in the back of your head, to explain what's happening there. And one thing when it comes to negotiating joint ventures like we do, for example, is how much is money worth? How much is money actually worth? How much risk do you have in what certain point from your position where you are? And I think what's happening when startups and corporates try to collaborate is that they don't try to understand how much money is worth for the opponent or for the negotiating partner and how much risk he's actually taking on. And I call that the digital arrogance on both sides, to be honest, because startups are the same. Yeah, they're also behaving like assholes because, hey, we're so cool, we're fancy, we're having the short trousers, the cool beard, and we've been running through Berliner Alex, and we've been asking the customer, and we know exactly what we want, and you are so stupid because you're old. Which is funny when the people in the room are maybe from the corporate side younger than the startup's founders or something, but you are so old and stubborn and stuff like that. Or Till representing a startup, and most of the VC analysts you're talking to might be younger than you are. Yeah, and it's just stupid because it's not describing the reality. Yeah? Age has nothing to do with what you do, with your company age or what your business model is. And this is quite funny because everybody in this room and every business school and so on, hey, you got to be customer centric. You got to focus on the customer. You got to really understand what his pain is and what his need is, but you're not really thinking about what your actual partner wants. You know, nobody does that. Whoever in a financing round is sitting there and saying, hey, BMW, what is your problem right now? What are you really looking into? You're standing there as a startup and say, I want your money. And I want your brand to be in the paper because everybody says BMW invested in me, and replace BMW by every name you know. Yeah, it's the same thing all the time. And the problem with corporates basically is that you now have this huge brand, this huge money and so on that everybody wants, and you have insecure people representing the brand, which have their own agenda again, but that nobody's talking about. And now you have the arrogant startup founder on the other side. And this is what's happening in the room, and this is why no deal is really done on coming out where everybody is happy. It's just not working. And since my time is limited, I now come to the part where how to not be an asshole for once. Because I think I described why everybody is an asshole. What I learned about that is that it's honestly quite simple, and it's very hard to do, and this is why it took me 11 months to sign that deal yesterday. It's basically being the one part in negotiation that's working on transparency. In the same negotiation, we had one meeting that took 2 hours or something like that. And during the 2 hours, I've been asking one question for 10 times, sorry. And it was, what is it you actually want from me? So it was about how much shares we have after the conversion of this convertible loan and technical parts. But the question was also, blah, and stuff, and money, and risk, and so on, and blah. And I was always asking the same question, what exactly do you want? And after the 10th time, my negotiation partner was so unnerved by me, they actually said, I don't understand why you have more than 30% when we pay for everything. And I said, okay, 29. What the fuck? Okay, so if that's your problem, just tell me and I can answer to that, because of course my range, which is okay for me, I have a range. And it was below 29%. But we spent 2 hours asking a question because he just wasn't able to tell me what he actually wants. And you can actually train people to do that. You just end looking at them, say, okay, I understand all your parts, tell me exactly what you want. He won't tell you, so you're asking again, you're asking again. The funny result is, yesterday, we just hugged each other and said, hey, great times ahead, and we have trust. Because we shared our interests, and we're working on the same motivation now because we took all the technical parts aside by communicating transparently, and so now we can focus on the business model and the purpose on what we're doing. And I think that is very important. So be just a better person, and in the end, give someone else the chance to not work on numbers, to not work on hidden agendas and stuff like that. Just so I'm here, by the way, and I know that you want something else that you're telling me, so let's talk about that again, and so on. To give you numbers, how I believe that I know that, in the past 6 years, I've been negotiating 17 startups, which have all been funded, and in the past, or in June and July this year, we're going to raise an amount of money for about 12 million in 2 months for 6 different startups. And in the past 12 months, we've been multiplying our assets in our balance sheet by 10, just by doing exactly that in negotiations. Just sitting there and asking people what they actually want. And not be there, have my hidden agenda, and try to get everything out of everybody else. And such. By the way, I'm here, I'm completely transparent. What I want is to talk to you, to be inside your organization. I want that asset from you, not everything else. No, I don't want your brand. I don't want you to give me money and not ask me anymore. I really want to work with you because I need that. Otherwise, I won't be successful. Now, please tell me what you want. Then you spend 13 hours in about 11 months. And finally, you will get to know that. And really, the best part about it is that you're not still in the hidden agenda mode afterwards. You don't have something in between you that is never spoken out, that is never really truthfully stated by anyone else, because this will definitely kill you in the next funding round. So when the next investor comes or the next negotiation starts and you have this old thing lined up back there, this will totally kill you. And then you have to be the real asshole. But to be honest, when you are the smaller partner like we are, you're not gonna be the asshole, you're gonna be the fucked one. This is what's happening to all the startups around. So 7, 8, okay. I'm gonna stop now. That's it.
Q&A.
Thank you for your talk, and now we have 6 minutes for Q&A. Any questions?
Just go to a bug. Just go to a bug. Fuck.
I had to wear something for Hamburg. I've been reading all these LinkedIn posts about, hey, Hamburg is so cool and we gotta move that and that. Coming here, forgetting that there is a public holiday in Munich and having all this pain at home because I forgot it. At least I have to show some Bavarian things on me. These are fast 6 minutes.
Yeah, I have one question, Manfred. So, fact is that people are not the same also in negotiations. You have, according to whatever model, you have so many different types. You have the more data-oriented people, you have more the narrative-oriented people, you have dominance, you have personal relationship-related people. Have you developed techniques in communicating according to personality types, or do you plain ask that question like you just mentioned it hundreds of times until people get it?
In the end, I do the same thing every time because, of course, you're talking different to different people. When it comes to language, when you have English-speaking people, you're not a native English speaker, you're completely different. I don't think that I'm like the only stable rock in the world or something. So this is not. But I think there are a few things that you need to do first before you're good yourself in negotiating. I talked about the insecurity of those people that you actually need to address by transparency. The problem is when you're insecure yourself about what you want and how you actually should behave, this will never work. So if you don't know for yourself what you want, it's quite hard to come together with someone else that is insecure himself. And this basically, if you develop the experience and your plan for yourself and you're really fond of it, it's not so important who you meet, because you will, like, in your own family you have different types of people and you communicate differently with those people. But still you like them, or you don't like them. But you're always adopting the other person. Still your message should be the same and your characters should be the same. And this is the same in private life, in private relationships, in business relationships, whatever. When you are stable and reliable, you can ask for reliability yourself, and then you can do the transparency thing, because you're not changing your own opinion all the time. And that's basically, I think, the key. Find out for yourself what you actually want, and don't play people with each other. And for example, one thing I always tell everyone who I'm also talking to, which is easier in the corporate world versus in the VC world and stuff like that, because you need... it's just more simple. It's always, actually everybody knows who you're talking to all the time. Yeah, you're looking to my LinkedIn feed and you know exactly what the companies are that I'm talking to right now. Yeah, so it's just simple. But it's one proof of being honest. I'm saying, by the way, I'm also talking to your competitor next week and he gets the same information, by the way. So if you don't want to do that, give me a good reason for it. So be honest and tell me, does this have a chance or not? Who do you have to ask in your organization to get to the next step and stuff like that? So then it really shortens the way normally, and I don't normally have this cycles of 11 months. Normally we get down to 6 weeks or something, which is always very fast for funding rounds. But I know that it's different in the corporate world, because you're for example, it's much easier to find out what the strategy of an established company is than for a small company or a VC, or what they already have in their portfolio, because normally they have a yearly report they have on their shareholders meeting, and there it's written down what the strategy basically is. You're looking at what kind of content they're publishing, and then you try to understand who you're talking to. That's also, by the way, some kind of valuing your conversation partner by looking at him first and try to find out what he might like. And and then it's actually quite easy. Yes?
Hi, I was wondering, how do you deal with cultural differences when it comes to negotiating? Because negotiating in Germany is one thing, negotiating in Latin America is something completely different. There's different, let's say, attitude on how you address things, corporal language, like body language, and all these things.
To be honest, I'm still learning that from part. So just to give you, we've been running this business model for 6 years now, and the first ventures are now scaling internationally, and we're getting into that position right now. What's, to be honest, easier for me in that case, that we normally have external management on the ventures already, so there is another CEO than me that does the lead on those negotiations. But me being one of the main shareholders still gets me back in this discussion all the time. But the good thing is that while making those experiences with international or different cultural negotiation partners, is that I'm already in the shareholder position and not in the active position anymore. So shareholder level is easier because everybody wants to make money and have value for money. So we have exactly one KPI that you need to talk about. And this is basically the same in every culture, because mathematics are also the same in every culture. And then you're on a different level of trust. So I have no real answer to that, because I'm making the experience right now. Yeah.
Exactly on time. Well, thank you very much for this great talk, and then I'm sure that you will also you can also answer to questions from the audience if there are still some. And I'd like to thank the audience, and also especially to the speakers. I have a very little present for you, and the other two have already disappeared. I will look for them later. Okay, so I wish all of you a nice break, and then we'll see each other later.